Hey guys, welcome to Y&R Daily Update YouTube channel. Today's topics: why Y&R should give Noah and Audra a second chance at romance. Moment between Audra and Noah had sparks flying. The brief reunion between Noah and Audra on The Young and the Restless has opened up the possibility of revisiting their romance. There are several compelling reasons why this former couple should be given a second chance. Key takeaways: they have unfinished business. The chemistry between Lucas, Adams, and Silver is on fire. Y&R fans took notice of the vibe during Audra and Noah's reunion. An opportunity that Y&R shouldn't miss. Relationship between Noah, Lucas Adams, and Audra Zulica Silver was over before she ever arrived in Genoa City. However, based on their recent brief reunion, these two have unfinished business. Sparks flew when Audra ran into Noah and Nick, Joshua Morrow, at the GAC. While Noah and Audra's interaction was quick, Y&R fans took notice of a look in a moment that spoke volumes. Not gonna lie, the moment between Noah and Audra was fire. I can see the chemistry immediately, already, and if she really has the capacity to change, I'd like to see them give it another go. 'Cause wow, wrote a fan on X. One Reddit thread highlighted the interaction, with several fans chiming in to acknowledge the apparent hot chemistry between Aura and Noah. A fan even declared, "He still wants her. He does not look good with Sienna." There's no question that Noah isn't the same guy he was a couple of years ago, and not just because a different character is playing him. Noah, cheating on Ali Kelsey Wong with Sienna Tamara Brown, was a game-changer for the character and honestly makes us feel like he's more of a match with Audra now. Y&R not utilizing the change in Noah. The show could delve more into their history and their feelings for each other. Remember, Audra was supposedly pregnant with Noah's baby and had a miscarriage. There always seems to be the impression that there was more to this story than Audra was letting on. Speaking of Audra, she has had her fill of men in Genoa City, but none of them have stuck. Granted, Audra is her own worst nightmare, but it could also be because she's never really gotten over Noah. What do you think? Should Y&R revisit a Noah and Audra romance? Subscribe our channel for more latest update on The Young and the Restless. Second chances are rarely about repetition, they're about evolution. That's exactly why revisiting a romantic possibility between Noah Newman and Audra Charles feels not only justified, but creatively smart. Their past connection was brief, complicated, and ultimately unresolved, which makes it fertile ground for deeper storytelling now that both characters have changed in meaningful ways. At its core, Y&R thrives when it allows relationships to grow alongside the characters rather than resetting them to familiar defaults. Noah and Audra represent a pairing that never had the opportunity to fully define itself. What viewers saw was chemistry layered with bad timing, emotional baggage, and outside interference. What they didn't get was resolution. In a genre where closure matters, that unfinished emotional business still lingers in it, deserves to be explored. Noah's evolution is key to why a second chance would work now. When he first crossed paths with Audra, Noah was still emerging from the shadow of past trauma, failed relationships, and the pressure of being Victor Newman's grandson. He was guarded, cautious, and unsure of his place in Genoa City. Since then, Noah has shown growth, greater emotional awareness, firmer boundaries, and a clearer sense of self. A more grounded Noah changes the entire dynamic of a potential romance. Audra, meanwhile, is one of Y&R's most compelling modern characters precisely because she defies easy categorization. She's ambitious, strategic, and unapologetic, but also deeply shaped by betrayal and survival instincts. Audra doesn't love lightly, and she doesn't trust easily. Her initial connection with Noah hinted at a softer side, one she rarely allows others to see. Revisiting that dynamic, after walls have been tested and hardened adds complexity rather than redundancy. What makes Noah and Audra especially intriguing is that neither character fits neatly into the show's traditional romantic archetypes. Noah isn't a domineering power player, and Audra isn't a wide-eyed ingenue. Which is exactly what Y&R needs to balance its high-stakes corporate and legacy-driven storylines. Not every romance has to be explosive to be compelling, some need to be earned. A second chance would also allow Y&R to explore themes it often hints at but doesn't always sustain: emotional accountability and timing. Their initial neromance failed not because of a lack of feeling, but because both characters were operating from incomplete versions of themselves. Revisiting that connection now invites the question: what happens when two people meet again as stronger, more self-aware versions of who they once were? From a storytelling perspective, Noah and Audra offer contrast. Noah leads with empathy. Audra leads with caution. That tension creates organic conflict without resorting to contrived misunderstandings. Their conversations tend to carry subtext, and their scenes feel lived in rather than performative. That's rare and valuable in daytime storytelling. There's also a broader structural reason. Y&R should reconsider this pairing. The show needs romantic stories that aren't entirely defined by legacy rivalries or recycled triangles. Noah and Audra exist slightly outside the traditional Abbott-Newman romantic gridlock, which gives writers room to experiment. Instead, it could focus on personal growth, trust building, and the consequences of emotional risk. Importantly, giving them a second chance doesn't mean rushing them into a fairy tale reunion. In fact, the strength of this story would lie in its slow burn. Audra shouldn't suddenly become vulnerable overnight, and Noah shouldn't slip into savior mode. A thoughtful rebuild marked by hesitation, honesty, and earned intimacy would respect both characters and reward patient viewers. Critically, this romance would also humanize Audra in a way that doesn't soften her edge. Too often, complex female characters are redeemed through romance by losing their ambition. Noah wouldn't demand that of Audra. His presence could allow her to be emotionally open without being diminished. That balance is rare and powerful. For Noah, being with Audra offers something equally important, a relationship not defined by nostalgia. Many of Noah's past romantic beats are rooted in history and familiarity. Audra represents choice, not destiny. Being with her would signal that Noah is no longer just reacting to his past. He's actively shaping his future. Fans often argue that chemistry alone isn't enough to sustain a soap romance. That's true. What sustains it is narrative purpose. Noah and Audra's purpose lies in what they represent, to people who once missed their moment, now standing at a crossroads where emotional courage matters more than comfort. In a show built on cycles of loss and return, a second chance doesn't have to mean repeating the same story. It can mean rewriting it with greater honesty. Ultimately, Y&R should give Noah and Audra another shot, not because they owe fans a romance, but because the story potential is richer now than it ever was before. Their connection invites growth rather than regression, nuance rather than noise, and in a landscape crowded with familiar pairings, that alone makes them worth revisiting. Second chances on The Young and the Restless work best when they reflect who characters have become, not who they used to be. Noah and Audra are ready for that kind of story. The real question is whether the show is ready to let them tell it.